Right now, News 3 Now looks into how a City of Madison sustainability program is helping dozens of low-income families save on their energy bills.
Plus, Dane County is upgrading its tornado sirens, what it's going to cost, and a closer look at how they work.
And the Milwaukee Bucks fighting for their playoff lives right now. We are live at the Fiserv Forum with the very latest. It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin with an update to a homicide on the southwest side of Madison earlier this week. We're learning more about the victim in the case.
She's been identified as 43-year-old Michaela Juarez Ocolt of Monona. However, the cause and manner of her death is still pending. She was found dead late Monday afternoon in a strip mall off Midvale and Hammersley, just north of the Beltline. The picture of the man you're seeing here is of Jose Duenas Quinones. Right now, police are calling him a person of interest in the case. Jose shares a young daughter with the victim, and authorities believe the two have left the country.
A teenage girl is in custody tonight in Sun Prairie after police there say she threatened a parent with a knife. An officer used a taser on her after she allegedly refused to drop a pair of knives for a period of more than 35 minutes while police negotiated with her. They say she was in the driveway armed with a knife. By the time they arrived, she faces possible charges of second-degree recklessly endangering safety and criminal damage to property. The incident closed Chandler Lane for a brief period of time, and residents nearby were asked to avoid that area.
A 16-year-old was taken into custody after being found with a gun at Memorial High School today. MMSD say school staff were tipped off near the end of the school day that the student may have a gun. Staff were able to isolate the student in a secure area until police arrived. When officers searched the student, they found a loaded handgun. The student was taken to the Juvenile Reception Center on a tentative charge of possession of a firearm on school property.
The City of Madison celebrated the first year of its Efficiency Navigation program today, showing off one of the 88 housing units that got free energy efficiency upgrades.
Now the city is looking for the next group of units to get a sustainability makeover. Braden Ross has the story.
Thanks to a new initiative by the City of Madison and Sustain Dane, 88 Madison homes are now more sustainable and cheaper.
Energy efficiency upgrades make homes more comfortable, and they make utility bills more affordable.
It's called the Efficiency Navigation Program, aimed at giving low-income housing access to energy efficiency upgrades for free.
We start with an owner that's interested and work with them through an assessment process to deciding what measures are going to be most impactful in their building.
Then the city actually makes those improvements using funding from grants and taking advantage of federal and state benefits to make the dollars go even further.
These two North Madison duplexes were able to take advantage of the program, getting everything from upgraded insulation to brand new refrigerators.
In one of the buildings, those upgrades saved tenants more than $2,000 a year in utility bills.
This was something that I could do that didn't, require much of me, but, had good outcomes for the tenants, and it was good for the environment.
On top of the savings, the renovations also made the units safer.
We identified 2 gas leaks from doing our assessment work and 1 carbon monoxide issue.
Right now, the program is focused only on multifamily affordable housing.
This is about a type of housing that is really needed in our community, and making sure that people who live in affordable housing can live in safe and clean and healthy environments and can benefit from low utility bills.
Now, after a successful first year, the program is looking for the next group of homes to update.
88 families is a great accomplishment. We have thousands and thousands of families here in Madison.
For News 3 Now, I'm Braden Ross.
Applications are now open for the 2023 cohort of the program. You can find all the requirements and information on how to apply online at sustaindane.org.
UW-Madison police are investigating a pair of fires at Sterling Hall as possible arson cases. Those fires were reported about 10:15 last night. Officers were called after getting reports of smoke coming from 2 rooms on the building's first floor. When they got there, the fires had already been put out. UWPD believes those fires were set intentionally. Cleanup costs are being estimated at about $10,000. Anyone with information about the fires or who may have set them is urged to call Madison area Crime Stoppers.
Let's now check the first warn forecast with Julian Seawright.
Well, we're going to be starting to see some more warmer weather starting in for tomorrow. Tonight, it's not going to be nearly as cold as temperatures will fall into the middle 30s, and we have another quiet and dry night on tap for us. Looking ahead, it's 47 degrees. It's not feeling too chilly out, but it's going to get a bit colder, but not too cold, especially as it has been over the last couple of nights. We're going to be into those 30s once we get into the overnight hours, welcoming into our Thursday morning. But folks, this is the headline for tomorrow. Temperatures into the 60s. Every single person gets a 60 tomorrow, and on top of it, plenty of sunshine as well. It's going to be a wonderful day by the time we get into the afternoon. Definitely one to really take advantage of being outside throughout the course of the day. Now, tomorrow's not the only time we're going to be seeing a 60, but it's going to be rather brief once we get to Friday. We see the 60s once again for Friday, then the weekend, it's not going to be as nice. Next week, though, starting off not so strong, but ending even stronger. But what we're watching for is going to be this weekend, as we have an opportunity once again to see the cooler weather and even some rainy weather coming in from our Saturday and heading into our Sunday as well. So for those who are going to be participating in Crazy Legs or just going to be a spectator, make sure you have the rain gear and a light jacket, because you're going to need it for this weekend and especially for the events. Now, we'll be breaking down a bit more of the timing and how much rain we're going to be expecting for the weekend in a few moments. Till then, back to you guys.
Julian, thank you. With peak severe weather season underway, Dane County officials are making sure residents will get warning information even faster.
Armand Rahman details the money going into the county's outdoor sirens.
Eric, in Charlotte, County Executive Joe Parisi included $3 million in the 2023 budget to replace aging hardware and to purchase new software to automatically sound sirens in areas the National Weather Service feels are at greater risk. That sound is all it takes to make you get somewhere safe in a storm or tornado.
Sometimes the boxes have some moisture that gets inside them, so they're starting to rust.
But what goes into it is a complex network of software and hardware in 141 sirens across Dane County. Now it's time for a $3 million checkup.
Once over from top to bottom, a physical, as it were.
And touch up on the sirens that give us the heads up.
There's no problem with the system the way it exists now. It's just that the technology is newer and better, and we want to stay in front of that technology to the best of our ability.
Sensors, wiring, and controls at each site will be upgraded to keep communicating seamlessly with emergency management.
Everything from the main PC in our office to the control boards at every of our 141 siren sites throughout the county. And new radios, because everything talks via two-way radio.
It'll also allow emergency officials to monitor, control, and test the siren system remotely.
The ability for any internet device, whether it's wireless, like cellular or Wi-Fi, to be able to connect to the system. What that will help for us is our ability to come out and troubleshoot quickly.
Emergency management hopes to start the process in a couple of months, and they say for people living around the sirens,
the good news is they're probably not going to see a difference.
And Dane County officials tell me they are still negotiating with a vendor. Once they get started on work, they hope to be done by the time snow flies again.
Confusion now over the future of a key seat in the state capitol. Madison State Representative Sheila Stubbs was nominated to lead the county's largest agency, which some county leaders say needs her full attention. But Stubbs may be looking to keep her seat in the state assembly. Dane County Executive Joe Parisi told us tonight that she would resign. But in a letter shared with News 3 Now by one of her constituents, Stubbs says she is committed to doing both jobs.
The job of Director of Human Services requires 100% of that person's effort, focus, and commitment. And she indicated that there are things that she wants to get done in the assembly.
Members of the county board have also shared concerns about comments she made during a recent church event. First reported by the State Journal, Stubbs says at the church event that the county board needs to be, quote, shooken up for the suggestion she needs to resign from the assembly. We reached out multiple times to Stubbs for comment, but she was unavailable.
Cab companies in Madison are getting $250,000 in grants to buy accessible taxi cabs, giving people who use wheelchairs an extra mode of transportation. Madison currently has two taxi companies, Madison Taxi and Union Cab. Union Cab has been the only company providing accessible taxi service, but the ones they have are reaching the end of their useful lives. Accessible cabs cost between $50,000 and $60,000 apiece.
The federal government's public health emergency end date for COVID-19 is coming soon, with state leaders saying response services will be winding down. COVID-19 vaccines will keep their FDA emergency use authorization and will still be available for free until the federally purchased supply is depleted. After that, for the uninsured, vaccines and treatment will be available through a bridge access program through the Department of Health and Human Services.
The fact of the matter is that the public health emergency was a trigger for federal and state funding to become available, resources that aren't normal.
DHS expects at-home testing will likely become more costly. For lab-based tests, as community testing sites are limited, people may be charged, also regardless of insurance status. Meanwhile, telehealth services will be extended to the end of the year.
All eyes are on Milwaukee tonight. The Bucks fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Our Andrew Banstra is in Milwaukee and has an update on Game 5. Andrew?
Yeah, Eric and Charlotte, I think fans felt a little bit better at halftime than they did right now. We're about 4 minutes into the second half or the third quarter. The score right now, 75 for the Heat, 73 for the Bucks. Now, that means it's a 12-4 run that this Miami Heat team has went on to start this second half. Of course, 3-1 the series score right now. Miami up in the series. It's a best of 7, so if you're Milwaukee, you lose and you're out. So you have to win this game right here, right now, tonight. Of course, if they do win, they'll get one more in Miami before coming back here on Sunday to finish off for hopefully a Game 7 right here in Milwaukee. Right now, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Now.
Andrew Banstra, thank you, and friend. When we come back, communities along the Mississippi River brace for more potentially damaging flooding expected in the coming weeks.
But first, the U.S. and South Korea strike a deal to deter North Korea's nuclear threat. What's in the agreement, and more on the South Korean leader's state visit.
At Gruber Law Offices, you pay us nothing until we win your case. It costs you nothing up front to get the results and compensation you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
It's easier to manage my chemo side effects since the Grace Supportive Care came to see me. They're taking the time to listen and talk about options for feeling better.
A Grace, caring every step of the way.
Make a move in the most electrifying Honda vehicles yet. Like the CR-V and Accord, with available hybrid powertrains designed for more responsive performance and more advanced tech. When you drive a Honda, you're driving with the 2022 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. Get moving and find the Honda for you. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
As a veteran of our country's armed services, you have already made the ultimate sacrifice. Why should you have to continue to do that? Through no fault of your own, you may be experiencing hardships, such as the inability to pay rent, utilities, or receive other life-sustaining services. And once again, you're called upon by your family to serve and protect. We want you to know we are here to support you. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin, with benefit approvals being issued to veterans in just days, not months. It's not easy to ask for a hand up, but we are clear in our mission. No Wisconsin veteran should ever have to face homelessness or lose heat, power, or water again. 833-WISC-VRAP. That's 833-947-8727.
No one plans to be in an accident, but having the proper insurance coverage can help if one happens. Protect yourself before an accident so we can protect you after. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Milo Ventimiglia is right at home on the Jennifer Hudson Show.
Always nostalgic to be here at Warner Brothers, the studio that raised me. Causing trouble.
What kind of trouble did you cause? Then a Sing reunion with Tori Kelly.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
The U.S. House has voted to pass a GOP bill raising the nation's debt ceiling. It comes after days of wrangling Republican lawmakers to unify behind the package. The final vote was 217 to 215, with 4 Republicans voting against the bill. The package would raise the nation's $31.4 trillion debt limit by an additional $1.5 trillion, but the measure is expected to be dead on arrival in the Democratic-led Senate.
President Biden and the president of South Korea have reached an agreement to address North Korean nuclear threats. That move is in response to North Korea's increased ballistic missile testing. Under the agreement called the Washington Declaration, the U.S. and South Korea will coordinate in response to any nuclear attack. The U.S. will also dock nuclear-armed submarines in South Korea for the first time since the 1980s, a move to discourage South Korea from restarting its own nuclear program.
The alliance formed in war and has flourished in peace. Seemingly every day, we've launched new areas of cooperation on cyber, strategic technologies, space, democracy.
The two leaders also discussed a range of other topics, including the war in Ukraine and economic cooperation between the allies.
Today, writer E. Jean Carroll was called to the stand in a civil defamation and battery trial stemming from her lawsuit against former President Donald Trump. Carroll described an incident where, in the mid-90s, she said Trump allegedly attacked and raped her in a department store in New York City. Trump and his lawyers have called Carroll's allegations false. Today's hearing began with a reprimand from the judge after Trump called the civil case a made-up scam on his social media site. Hundreds of miles of the mighty Mississippi are dealing with a river even mightier than usual.
More than 24 river gauges are in major flood stage across the Midwest, with flooding in some spots expected to be the worst in 20 years. Emily Schmidt shows the efforts to hold back the water, which seems to just keep on coming.
There's a real-time math equation playing out along the upper Mississippi River. Take spring water, add winter snowmelt, you get a massive problem.
People say it's the storm of the century, the year that we've never seen a blizzard like this, and then Mother Nature says, hold my beer.
We try to keep as much water on the other side of the barrier as we can, but it's going to be a constant work in progress.
It's not as if these towns along the river haven't dealt with flooding before. They're prepared with systems and sandbags. But in Fountain City, Wisconsin, the water found another way in.
As the morning progressed yesterday morning, it started coming up through the road. And at that point, we had kind of lost the battle.
People need help, so we're glad to get down here and lend a hand.
Students filled sandbags there, while in Prairie du Chien, officials say 16,000 sandbags came from a different area.
We have great cooperation with the correctional facility here in town, where inmates have been filling sandbags around the clock for us.
The water is expected to continue to rise. The county emergency management director says they've had so many offers to help, they've turned away volunteers.
We'll be in this stage until it's time to crest and then clean up and determine our damages.
Minnesota's governor says the state has seen most of the cresting there with no significant damage, but there are still more than 400 miles with flood warnings along the Mississippi. Emily Schmidt, News 3 Now.
Well, the next major community where the Mississippi River is expected to crest is La Crosse. That's expected by early tomorrow morning at 16 feet. The National Weather Service says that would put the flood at the 3rd highest on record there. For more on the flooding here in Wisconsin, plus your complete forecast, let's check back in with Julian.
Yeah, we got to talk about the floods now, huh? And it's one thing, as you mentioned, this is a historical thing that's happening. Granted, it's right at our back door. So let's get straight into it, because talking about the cresting is just going to be for a couple days for some areas, but there's also areas just near Minnesota and to the northwest of Wisconsin, which are already cresting for us. Just near La Crosse, we're going to be seeing come tomorrow, where we're going to be seeing that area once again start to crest for us, and then afterwards, it's going to be the cleanup. But for some of these areas and for all the water levels to normally go back to where they are, we're expecting about 2, maybe even 3 weeks for this to really start to fall into normal levels because of just how high the water has really risen, especially to our friends in the Southwest. As we were just talking from that package near Prairie du Chien, as of right now, some areas are about 6 feet over just the normal flood levels as of right now. And for cresting, going towards Dubuque, 23, almost 23 and a half, a little bit more in terms of feet is what we're going to see for the cresting, which is estimated to be around Friday for us. And then it's just going to be a race against time. Now, that's just what's happening with the rivers as of right now. But going into this weekend, we have some chances of seeing some more rainfall, which is not going to help. The good news is, though, it's not a whole lot of rain. But we are still going to get some opportunities of some showers throughout much of southern Wisconsin from Saturday going into our Sunday. That's going to stick around and give close to a 1/4 of an inch throughout many areas of southern Wisconsin. Now, as we take a look and see just how much from this weekend, we're expecting around 1/4 to 1/2 an inch around Madison. But the good news is for Prairie du Chien areas closer towards the Mississippi River, we're not looking for too much in terms of rainfall to be added, but about 1/10 to about a 1/4 of an inch of rainfall is what is going to be expected for those areas. But we're still dealing with the snowmelt from earlier of April with that warmer temperatures. Now, moving on, heading into this weekend, Crazy Legs is coming in on a Saturday. And it's going to be very similar to last year, where we did have some of those chillier and rainy conditions. Good news is it's just mainly going to be some light showers, but temperatures are going to be into the lower 50s. So light jacket and some rain gear is definitely going to be necessary if you're going to be either spectating or participating in the run. Now, planning out tomorrow, because folks, it is going to be wonderful for tomorrow. Thursday, we're having 60s, plenty of sunshine, and on top of it, all of us get a 60. Close to 70 degrees near Bosqueville and for Prairie du Chien, 64 for Platteville, 65 in Janesville. It's going to be a day to really get outside and enjoy the weather. And it's also going to be very dry throughout the course of the day. We're looking at plenty of sunshine for us here in southern Wisconsin. Areas to the north may see a bit of some shower activity, but for us, some clouds are only going to build once we get into around the 5 o'clock hour, and they're going to be very high level, so it's not even going to be much of an issue. Getting into Friday, it's almost carbon copy. Starting off for our Friday morning around the middle 40s, and then as we get into the lunchtime hour, it's going to be one of those days to really take enjoyment of the weather until we get to our Friday evening, where we could start to see a bit of some rain activity for our friends to the southwest. A quick look at our first Warren 10-day forecast, 60s until the weekend. Then we're getting to cool down with 50s heading into our Saturday, and then for 40s on Sunday and Monday. And then for the rest of the week, we're also going to be looking at some cooler weather until next week, where we're back to the 60s.
And coming up in sports, it's win or go home for the Bucks. How the Deer are doing in Game 5 against the Heat. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Dear Exit Strategy. All your pieces are in place. Thanks for being there when I need you most. Always Toyota SUVs. Toyota. Let's go places.
Planning a remodel? Don't toss your cabinets, furniture, and appliances. Donate to Habitat Restore. Your items stay out of landfills while proceeds create housing solutions for hardworking families. Build a stronger community with Habitat Restore of Dane County.
It's Blaine's Farm and Fleet of Baraboo's grand reopening event this Thursday through Saturday. Join us for huge store-wide savings in every department. Enter daily for your chance to win over $10,000 worth of gift cards and prizes. Test a variety of new Milwaukee and DeWalt power tools, and catch daily on-site demos from experts in pet, ag, automotive, and more. Don't miss Blaine's Farm and Fleet of Baraboo's grand reopening event starting this Thursday.
Find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
When an appliance you rely on goes kaput, you can count on family-owned Brothers Maine, Southern Wisconsin's local appliance authority since 1938. With thousands of in-stock options, we have the brands you want at the lowest prices guaranteed. Even big box can't beat our prices. Our experienced team of appliance experts will help you make the right selection, and we deliver it fast and free to your home. What you need when you need it. Shop appliances you can bring home today at our Madison and Janesville showrooms. Feel like family. Brothers Maine.
Miss the news and need to know what's going on where you live?
News 3 Now is always on. Download the Channel 3000 app and get video on demand whenever and wherever you need it.
The Channel 3000 app. Get it now.
Powered by News 3 Now.
Dear Exit Strategy. All your pieces are in place. Thanks for being there when I need you most. Always Toyota SUVs. Toyota. Let's go places.
Well, it's simple for the Bucks. Win Game 5 to keep their season alive and force a Game 6, and then repeat the process all over again for a shot at a winner-take-all Game 7 against the Heat. Deer down 3-1 in the series, and Chris Middleton came to play early. First quarter, that dude was unconscious. Middleton rattles home the bucket. He scored 17 points alone in the quarter, and then in the second, he was in a giving mood. He brought the alley. Giannis finished with the U. Bucks led by 6 at the break. Last check of this one, they're up late in the third. Aaron Rodgers called today a surreal one. For 18 years, he's been a Packer, and now he's officially a Jet. The franchise introduced the quarterback this afternoon, and he was all smiles. Now, Rodgers is tasked with turning around a team that hasn't been to the playoffs in 12 years and hasn't won a Super Bowl since 1969. But he did see the trophy and said that one was looking lonely.
The opportunity to be a part of a city that's hungry, that's a team, an incredible fan base that's hungry to win again. The opportunity to be a part of something special here, it's different. You know, it's similar to Green Bay in that way. When you win in a city like Green Bay, well, I assume for a team like the New York Jets, you go down in history, and there's something special about adding that to your legacy.
Meanwhile, his former head coach, Matt LaFleur, thanked Rodgers for their time together after the trade was made official, saying, "I've had the opportunity to work with many great players, but none better than Aaron. He was and will always be a great representative of the G and what it means to be a Packer." Luke Fickell's first Big Ten game with the Badgers just got a little tougher. Wisconsin's conference opener isn't just a road trip to Purdue, but the Badgers will take on the Boilermakers under the lights on Friday night at Ross-Ade Stadium. UW has won 9 straight at Purdue and the last 16 meetings in the series. Brewers trying to avoid being swept by the Tigers. Third inning, crew already up 3-0, and Victor Caratini makes it 5-zip with one big swing of the bat. He gets the cheesehead, and the Brew Crew get a much-needed win. 6-2 is the final. We're back after this.
Why are there 2 extra seats? I know, Uncle Dane and his giant beard.
The Volkswagen Atlas with best-in-class third-row legroom. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer for 4.9% APR financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
Spring has sprung. Visit Menard's Garden Center for everything you need to get your garden growing. Choose from hundreds of beautiful, colorful flowers, lush trees and shrubs, and everything in between. Menard's Garden Center is back in bloom. Stop in and get your garden on today. Assorted 10-inch hanging baskets are just $6.99 each after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menard's.
Spring into action and save on stressless seating at the Century House. Now get $400 off all classic power recliners, signature-based recliners and ottomans, and cross-based recliners and ottomans. And get $400 off most sofas and love seats. Imagine how much you can save building your dream sectional. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
Lots of insurance companies make promises about how much you can save if you switch over to them. Well, here's our promise. With the West Bend policy, you can save everything, every memory, every detail, everything you've worked so hard for. Once it comes time to actually make a claim, a cheap insurance policy can really cost you. Why not protect everything that matters with a policy from West Bend? Because the worst brings out our best.
Leisure Concepts has your new hot tub in stock and ready for immediate delivery. Steel and composite construction and the perimeter installation is so quiet. We'll deliver everything you need to easily keep your hot tub crystal clear, including knowledge. That neck-deep hot water massage feels amazing every day of the year. You'll never get tired of it. Get to Leisure Concepts and see almost 70 hot tubs that are ready for immediate delivery to your backyard.
Turn on Bionic Spotlight Extreme 360, the motion-activated home defense light that looks just like a security camera. It detects even the slightest motion and automatically triggers 6 ultra-bright LED high beams. Call or go online and order your Bionic Extreme 360 for just $19.99. Plus, get free shipping on your entire order.
To order, call 1-800-501-5956 or go online to buybionic360.com. Call now.
Why are there 2 extra seats? I know, Uncle Dane and his giant beard.
The Volkswagen Atlas with best-in-class third-row legroom. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer for 4.9% APR financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
Call for action only on News 3 Now.
Finally tonight, where's the beef? Well, soon it'll be at your supermarket. Wendy's is going to sell cans of its well-known chili at grocery stores. The fast food chain is partnering with Conagra on the project. Like the restaurant version, the recipe is beef, peppers, and beans in a tomato-based sauce. The chili will sell for about $5 a can and should be on store shelves by summer. I wonder if Zach and Julian know where's the beef. You guys know?
Yeah,
it sounds so familiar to me.
Where's the beef?
I have no idea.
That was a Wendy's ad from probably before either of you were born, like in the 80s.
80s?
A long time
wow.
ago. So.
Well, I'm thinking that's like an
We
early 2000s.
loved it growing up.
Let's get a quick final check of the forecast.
I'm a baby, apparently.
Go ahead, Zygote.
It's a good thing.
10-day forecast. We have 60s for the next couple of days, so enjoy the weather, folks. It's going to be sunny. It's going to feel great, but then we are cooling down heading into the weekend. Those participating in Crazy Legs, expect some cooler and wet weather.
All right. Thanks for joining us, folks.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.